Hi, my friends. We are watching the death battle of Gurren versus White Lantern slash Kyle Rayner. I want Gurren to win. This is gonna be, as you can tell, this is during the premiere. I'll put up the video later, but you're gonna get my reactions to this death battle. 2, 1. Okay, death battle. What do you got going? Bum bum.
Simone the Digger. Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
Boo.
2 men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity. He's
Dude, I cannot wait for this fight. So many people have been going crazy about this fight.
Death battle.
Simon first. Yeah, our boy. God, I remember watching this freaking show. So good.
That's where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty. Oh, and his little brother.
I always enjoyed Kamina's flair. I originally thought, well, you'll find out, but I always thought Kamina was the main character. Yeah, episode 3.
From another mother, Simone. He was there too, I guess. Simone was a digger, content to drill endlessly through the dirt, until the day he found the core drill.
Why do you gotta spell it like that, Death Battle? Why do you gotta spell it like that? I know that's how it's pronounced, but come on. Come on.
A key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagan. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark. But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the Earth for humanity, scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren. And as befits Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagan merged, creating Gurren Lagan.
By the way, can we talk? I will always remember fucking Kamina being like, we'll fuse our mechs together, let's force this to happen, as he stabs himself, almost getting a drill to the back of the head.
These two were unstoppable. Of all
God.
the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history,
Gurren's pretty much ridiculous.
Absolute coolest, fueled by its pilot's willpower and capable of making any weapon they can imagine, including missiles.
Which reminds you, Simone's potential is supposed to be infinite.
Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite,
the Giga Drill Impact.
Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something, my whole personality.
That is
With
your
Gurren
whole
Lagan's
personality.
awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome. Until Kamina died. Oh, wait,
I did not
was
expect
that
this shit
supposed
back
to happen?
then.
Nope, and it was all Simone's fault. He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After all, he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by
Man,
the
that was
light of
always
Kamina's
rough.
spirit. So his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you. Damn. Kamina was the one looking up to him the whole time. It was Simone who found Lagan, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity to victory. Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years.
Dude, this was such a fucking kick to the teeth
Unimaginably
with Nia.
powerful godlike aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis. Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws
It's pretty
of
much
physics
evolution,
run on
how the
chutzpah.
anime
Just as the spiral
kinda
turned inward
explained
represents
it.
endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity, the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Yeah.
Potential Simone would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy.
Channeling
It
spiral power
does.
lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simon can create portals to different realities and higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
I wonder if they're gonna go to the
Creating
probability
Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong
drill
enough
missiles.
to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann.
This one's
which can
badass.
fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power.
That's a
times
lot
faster
of
than
zeros.
Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap, the multiverse labyrinth. An attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simon and his spiral power are just built different. And after being inspired by his bro, Simon absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself.
Way
the jump between
greater.
dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope.
What?
It becomes
Just getting
crazy.
started. Imagine a two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon
Real.
adding another to the mix.
Wait, if every human
It gets
being
fucking
has spiral
crazy with
power,
Gurren Lagann.
You're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Log on.
This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy. Like,
This
shooting
fight was
missiles that
so
alter
damn cool.
probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees. Sorry, did I say
Like Destructo
galaxies?
Discs.
I meant universes.
Simon's power was so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simon turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean
Which, to be fair, that's going to be on similar case with the Green Lantern power, because they could already do that, per se. But, like, I gotta think, like, how it comes down to when it comes to, like, the Green Lantern constructs and stuff like that, if they hit dimensional tiers like that. Especially when you take into the Marvel, like, multiverses and infinite verses and all that other shit. But I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes down.
he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best wife in the universe, used
Always was the
spiral
best
power
wife.
to
What do you mean?
constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, whiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simon evolved one more time.
Into
One last time.
Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann!
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simon and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
Hey, cruel indifference of the universe! Meet the indomitable human spirit!
Proving Kamina's words prophetic, that Simon's drill is the drill
Drill
that would pierce
the
the
heavens.
With no more worlds left to
Minus the
conquer,
ending,
Simon
bruh.
chose to wander the earth for the
Frickin'
rest
Nia.
of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up, For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks to a humble digger.
Okay, Kyle, what do you got
The
going for
universe
us?
is a dangerous place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat, you know who to call.
The Green Lantern
I love how
Corps.
that cat's
They're
like the
Space
more
Fuzz, an
noticeable of the
intergalactic
Red
police
Lantern.
force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern among
Wait.
them was everyone.
Wait, was that the actual OG leprechaun in the background?
Billions of years ago by blue leprechaun
What are you doing here? That's not your franchise.
And the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal
Hal
Jordan.
Jordan.
You know him. You love
But
him.
Kyle's supposed to be
You
stronger.
might hate him, but
Yeah, because let's be honest, you still fucked that death battle over with Ben Tennyson and Green Lantern. Like, that fight needs a redo because you guys fucked that up.
gotta respect the man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the
Unbreakable?
day his will broke.
Yeah, I was gonna
After
say,
his
Parallax
hometown
has a
got
question about that.
completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
There was
Yeah.
only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern
So,
ring in.
real quick, I want to point out that it's fucking hilarious that they're bringing in Kyle Rayner with this, because, like, yeah, he's arguably the strongest, but, like, he was just given the ring for no freaking reason. Like, he wasn't chosen. Well, he was chosen by him, but, like, it wasn't like he was special. They didn't, like, no background report. They didn't any of that shit. It's just, well, you are here. Here you go. Here's the strongest thing in existence. Like, deadass.
In the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So, was Kyle picked for his indomitable willpower
Oh,
like Hal was?
He was there. He had no idea what
Yeah,
was going on.
exactly.
It felt good being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient fox can master it, what's your excuse?
I still laugh
The
with
Green
Colonel
Lantern ring
Sanders.
can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible.
Yeah, we know how
manipulate
strong the
matter,
Green Lantern.
time
We need to know
travel, warp
what the White
reality,
Ring
and
does.
erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating? Well, consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns
Yeah, the
control
flight time
and
thing is going to be an
space,
interesting
letting them fly
feat to
so
deal
fast
with.
They can create a speed force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like the time that Poozer Kilowog survived being erased from
Hmm.
existence by the crisis on Infinite Earth.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched.
Yeah,
Probably
Kyle's
because
made
he's a
mechs
comic book
before.
artist.
Yeah.
We know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most recognizable ability is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them
Yeah,
stronger to lift a
it's going to be an
spectrum that weighs as
interesting
much
fight
as
when it comes to the robot
eternity.
fight.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait, 0.3? DC's multiverse has 12.3.
Oh, that's
dimensions?
interesting. So that's
That is the
12.3
stupidest
versus
thing I've ever
11.
heard.
The
Or
ring's
16?
only
I forgot what they
downside is that
said.
It's limited to 24 hours before needing a recharge.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great
Yeah.
power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For
Yep.
how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Yeah,
Finally
like
got
3 times, I
serious.
think.
He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger.
I think this one, I don't think the Yellow Lantern's gonna push too far into it. Like, it might work on Simon for a little bit, but I think because we saw when Kamina came into Simon's dimension and got him and everyone out of it, I think the spiral power will be able to negate this little power.
He becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies'
I don't know
attacks,
how that
but
one's gonna
also
work.
their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by
Hope.
and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space.
Once again, I don't
connecting
think
him
that
to
one's gonna matter
others.
too
The
much.
final one was the sapphire light of love. With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice.
Fucking
And
Johnny
with their
Bravo.
powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern, with total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes
No,
you live.
it's actually pretty
Empowered by
overpowered.
The physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other lantern in
Yeah.
existence.
The White
Far
Lanterns are
stronger
pretty
than Hal,
ridiculous.
Who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse?
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Okay, so it's not totally useless.
Especially after
Why
Kyle
are you
visited
using
the
Steven?
source and acquired the life equation. Essentially the source code to reality, the life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart, the
The
anti-life
anti-life.
equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And
Yeah,
together, they
that
shattered
became
destroying
ridiculous.
the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself. Make
Yep.
mistakes along the way.
But with the
Much
power
to be
of life
human.
at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
See, it's gonna
Hey, remember
come
Beerus
down
versus Sailor
to-
Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime. But we've got a solution.
Really?
It's our own website. That's www.deathbattle.gg. It's
That's
like our own
stupid.
private Patreon, with a store for Death Battle merch and a complete Death Battle video archive. It's got episodes that YouTube has banned, blocked, and censored, and there's even more goodies on the way. So check out deathbattle.gg.
Dude, I don't know what's going on with
right
YouTube
now.
and Twitch right now. There's so much dumb shit going on. Alright.
All right.
I want to think Simon's gonna win this because, like, it comes down to whether or not Kyle can stop, like, the constant evolution of the spiral energy at the end of the day. Can Kyle put him down before Simone just constantly evolves until he gets to a state where Kyle can no longer touch him? That's, I feel, ultimately the crux of this fight. Do I think Kyle can do it? I don't think so, but we'll see. I put in my money on Simone.
And we've run the data through all possibilities.
I don't want to think the freaking White Lantern Corps and Kyle win this, but we'll see right now, chat. Boomerang glasses, baby.
Alright, I'm not rusty at all.
Shing! Hey!
Dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
No.
Gun's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
Mech vs. Mech. Oh no, he made, what's his name? Shenron.
Bad with authority.
Tell me about it.
Four?
Not the helmet. Let's go.
That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens!
Shing!
Turn your Topa Gurren Lagann! That's really cool. I'm a
Lantern. We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Really?
The unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
Now you know!
We gotta do Libra there. Come on, Simone. No, Source Wall.
Digger, if there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down!
Wait, did he break the Source Wall? Oh shit. Come on.
fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends.
Come on, Simone. Break through this bullshit.
Future. Choose life.
Have faith
Coming up!
that believes in you.
Let's go, baby!
Super Tekken Topa Gurren Lagann! My drill is the drill that will transcend the heavens!
Come on, Simone.
Drill break!
Oh, this still can go anyone's way. Oh, let's just go! Let's go, baby! Oh, no. That's not good.
The super weapon wasn't your mech.
It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day. In
Oh, no. I don't like
no
that.
evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern fly!
Dude, that's epic! Yeah!
Grit those teeth!
Let's go!
You'd make a good lantern.
Oh,
You have been chosen.
Just who the hell do
you
you
think I am? Let's go! Woo-hoo!
Snazzy sunglasses.
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our
Yeah, baby!
speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast
But
enough
the
to surpass
probability
the normal
missiles
concept
and all
of
that other
speed
shit.
itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind
Don't
of become
matter.
irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
First up, imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the
That is
other.
ridiculous.
Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the other
that's
factor
fair.
for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them.
Yeah.
Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiversal scale with their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd.
This is gonna be
for
interesting.
characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse
But-
Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which
Yeah.
meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level. However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So
Yep.
to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with Spiral Power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger.
Yep.
So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth?
Yeah, because that like kind of sets him like as a base form after he absorbs the multi-labyrinth. Because after that multi-labyrinth feat, he did get stronger, so there would be a multiplier on that.
Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
Yeah.
Enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since Spiral Power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge. Especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did.
Hold on.
Blue Lantern
The anti-spiral has regeneration. The anti-spirals had regeneration capability of spiral power users, but Simon overcame them. He can do that same thing against Kyle's healing and resurrection ability, including those that work on a non-corporeal level. Yeah,
Light could
That
boost
makes
Kyle's
sense.
power. He's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything. Kyle
yeah, which
threw
is a
at him.
level of
Everything,
infinity.
that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality
That's fair.
and himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's.
Yeah.
Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway? That's Gurren
That's
Lagann
true.
in a nutshell.
Yeah, that
Simone's
is.
incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was
Would have been
ultimately
stronger.
greater. Kyle may have embodied life itself, but Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Let's go, baby. Okay, what's next? What's next? Oh my god, are we doing Tom and Jerry versus Wile E. Coyote? Tom versus Wile E? What the fuck? Team Force is gonna be a crazy
Thanks for
thing.
watching.
Well, and that's the video, chat. Thank you again. It's my first time doing a reactionary video, so I hope you enjoy. Please leave a like, follow. If you want to leave a comment, please leave a comment. If you have a death battle you want to see me, watch over again, I will be happy to do that. Just leave a comment down below. You all have a lovely day. Much love. Take care. Bye-bye.